Hello, welcome back. For this session, we are still on chapter 2, units of measurement. We already covered scientific worldwide use of SI measurements. We have seen that measurement or the SI unit came to solve the problem of inconsistency, and it happened in France, and this is used worldwide. Now we want to see prefixes added to SI base units, how they indicate larger or smaller quantities. So this is the main idea that we will be looking at in this session. So the 7 SI base units are the standard, and their standard abbreviation symbols are listed in a figure here. So what we have here is what we are calling the base units, the length, the mass, the time, temperature, amount of substance, electric current, and luminous intensity. As we looked at all of them, we said we have candela, amp, mole, Kelvin, second, kilogram, and meter. All these 7 have symbols. They have symbols here. So these are the symbols that we are talking about. And the length definition of the standard, this one is the length of the path traveled by light in a vacuum during a time interval. This one, mass, the unit of mass equal to the mass of an international prototype of the kilogram. Then the duration or periods of radiation corresponds to transition between 2 hyperdefined levels of the ground, and so forth and so forth. So let's go back into the details here and see how they come up. Prefixes added to the names, added to the names of SI base units are used to represent quantities, So they are used to represent quantities that are larger or smaller, than the base unit. Larger or smaller than the base unit. So the SI prefixes using length is just but an example. For example, let's take an example of length here. If you have, for example, you have the prefix, centimeter. You have the prefix centimeter, abbreviated as C, abbreviated as C. Then we have, it represents the exponent factor, represents the exponent factor represents the exponent factor of 10 power negative 2, which equals 1/100th, 1/100th. So thus 1 centimeter, thus 1 centimeter equal 0.01 of a meter. So equal 0.01 of a meter, or 1/100 of a meter, or 1/100 of a meter. So how you get this? You can get 1, you divide it by 100. This will give you, because these are 2 zeros, you will move 2 steps, 1, 2, 0, and 0. So this is the same as this. If this is the equal sign, then that is what you would have. So as you divide this, you just move 1, 2 steps and put a decimal point, and these are all equal even to 1 centimeter. Let's look at the table that we have here. We have many units here that are the base units. So base unit of length is meter. So meter is 10 raised to power 0. Then as you move to this side, to your left, it becomes greater, and as you move to your right, it becomes larger. So as you move to your right, it becomes larger. So you can see here, it becomes deca, hecto, kilo, deci, centi, and milli. All of them are decameter, kilometer, hectometer, decimeter, centimeter, and so forth. For a mnemonic which can help you maybe to remember this, you could take the first letters here and make a mnemonic. King Harry draws ugly dark chocolate milk. So you could use any other word like King Harry drinks and maybe unpreserved dark chocolate milk, whatever you will use that will aid you to recollect this. It will help you in the conversion. To convert here, we will see what you do here. SI unit measurements. Let me make this somehow clearer. So to convert the SI base unit for distance to centimeters, the centimeter point simply moves 2 space. So for centimeters, you move 2 space. So centimeter is here to the right. So 1 meter equals 100 centimeter. So the derived point here simply moved 2 spaces. So the prefix merely has a power of 10 of minus 3, power minus 3. It is therefore smaller than the base unit of lira, because you are converting from a smaller unit to a larger unit. Move the decimal 3 places to the left. So if this is what you have been given as the lira, and I mean the millilira, and you want to convert it back into lira, then you will move 1, 2, 3 steps to your left. So 1, 2, 3 steps to your left. But in this case, that is what we are not, that's not what is done here. Here, we are having these being converted into, we are having this being converted into larger value. So you will be having 9, 8, 4, 4. So you will move 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We said 3 points to your left. So this is left. So this is where the point is at 9. So you move 1, 2, 3. You put it there. So by doing so, you are converting it. The opposite happens if you are having the other side. In this other side, you will have to move to the right instead of moving to the left. So let's see here, converting 0.3 kilometers into meters. So we know that meters are the smaller. So the power of 10 for the prefix kilometer, I mean kilo, is power 3. So it is therefore a larger value than the base unit of the meter. So to convert from a larger unit, that is kilometer, to smaller unit meter, move the decimal point 3 places right. So this is opposite now. We will move it right, 1, 2, 3, and that is where our decimal place will be, and this will be meters. So if they are larger, you move to the right. If you are converting a larger value than the base unit, you move to the right. If it is a smaller one, you move to the left. The next unit that we will look at here is mass. So mass basically is a measure of the quantity of matter. Is the measure of a quantity of matter, is a measure of the quantity of matter. The SI standard unit for mass is kilogram. The SI standard unit for mass is kilogram. So the standard for mass is defined and use of calibrated balances all over the world helps us to get this measure. So the gram is smaller than the kilogram, is 1,000 of a kilogram. The gram is 1,000 of a kilogram and is more useful for measuring masses of small objects such as flasks and beakers in the lab. So the gram is about the mass of a paperclip. So for even smaller objects such as tiny quantities of chemicals, the milligram may be used. So from the base unit, we could even use the milligram. Milligram could be used often. So 1 milligram is 1,000th of a gram. Is 1,000th of a gram or 1,000,000th of a kilogram or 1,000,000th of a kilogram. So this is how these things are converted.